Okay, so now we're in Photoshop and we're going to open our first document. Photoshop can open a number of different types of documents, and the way to do this is to come up to the File pull down menu, and we're going to click on Open. Once we click on Open, it's going to open up File Explorer. This shouldn't be much different on a PC than it is on a Mac. You can see I'm using a Mac. But there should be no major differences other than the way that it looks a little bit. A Mac basically shows me over here on the left hand side my hard drives that I have on my current computer, different folders where things are stored, and so on and so forth. So I need to basically access where my photos are, and in this case here they're under the Pictures folder, or I could go out and try to find other places where images are stored, and we'll look at various different ways of storing and finding images here in a minute. So for right now, what I want to show you though is we're going to come down here to where it says Enable. Right now you can see it says all readable documents, and the tooltip says specify which file types are available. So when I drop this down, you can see how Photoshop displays all the different types of files that it can open. The very top one is our Photoshop document. This has the extension of PSD, which stands for Photoshop document. This is the way that you will save all of your Photoshop documents for this class. Typically though, we will insert other images into Photoshop to open and work on. Most often than not, these images are going to be JPEG images, okay? JPG. Joint Photographic Expert Group is what this stands for. A lot of these acronyms really, you don't have to memorize them or know exactly what they mean, but all the acronyms that you see in here, for instance JPEG or PNG or TIFF, BMP for instance, these all have origins of basically who created them and how they got named, but we really don't need to know all that right now. We just basically need to know that all of these documents that are listed here are openable in Photoshop. Even things like PDF files are openable in Photoshop. So we'll be looking at all of this sort of stuff. So right now it's best to just leave that as all readable documents so that it'll show us all of the different types of documents that I can open in Photoshop. If I go to something other than my Pictures folder, say for instance Documents, when I open up Documents in here, you can see how some things are kind of grayed out or hidden. These are the ones that can't be opened. For instance, I can't open a Word document. I can't even click on it. So we see here we have a document that is used by Microsoft Word. I can't open that. Okay, but I can open this one right here. That's a PSD file, and that stands for Photoshop document, like we just mentioned. So that's an openable file. PDFs are openable files. We go down through this a little bit further here. You can see we have some JPEGs in here. We have some drawings in here that can't be opened. Okay, they're grayed out. You just can't even pick on them. So we're going to start out by clicking on my Pictures folder, and we're going to scroll down this list and just find a image. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'll just come in here and find something that we can open. I'll click on this greenhouse.005 JPEG image and click on Open. Notice that when I click on this down bottom, it shows me what the image format is JPEG. So I'll click on Open, and it should open this up into Photoshop. So when I open up this image, you can see in here it will tell me or show me what the image is. Up at the very top, it will open the image in a tab. Tells me what the file name is, what the zoom percentage is, and what type of file it is. It's a RGB 8-bit file. RGB stands for red, green, blue, and we'll get into all of that sort of stuff in a little bit. But for right now, we'll leave this alone. Down at the bottom we see also a status bar, and it shows us our zoom percentage and our file size. And lastly, over here we see that it opens up a layer automatically for us, and by default it's called the background layer, and this background layer is locked by default. You can see this little padlock, and basically what that does is protects the image so that I can't really damage it right now, because I can't do a lot of editing to this at this point because the layer is locked. Let's just open up another image just to show you how this works if I want to bring one image into another or something like that. So I'm going to come up to File, again hit Open. I'll come down here and I'll just click on this image here, this pilgrim house or whatever it is. Click on Open, and we can see here we have another image open, and it's another tab. So notice I can switch between tabs up top here by clicking on each one. So each one of these is an independent image document currently. You can have as many of these open as you want, so I'm going to just open up another one. And if you want to, when you are in here under File Open, if you want to select multiple images to open, I can click on one, and I can hold down the control or the control key on a Mac or on a PC. And nope, that didn't work. Okay. Pause, record. Okay, we're back to recording again. So in here now I've opened up several images, and as you can see in here we have them all as tabs across the top like this. Okay, and you can see they're all a little bit different. Some of them are, these first three are all zoomed at a certain magnification of 66.7%. This one here is a really small image and it's at 100% right now. And we'll look at that here in a second. Let me open up, whoops. Didn't mean to do that, but we'll pause here. So now that I have several images open here, we can see that we have 4 images currently open across the top, and they're all a little bit different. So now that we have this, we can also see each layer that each image that we brought in created this background layer that we have already talked about a little bit. The background layer is a special layer that gets created whenever you open an image, whether it's a JPEG image, a TIFF image, a target image, a PNG image, PDF, doesn't really matter. It's going to create a background layer from that initial open image that you open. That's kind of funny. But anyway, we come in here and you can see that the background layer itself is locked, and we're going to talk about how to work on that here in a minute. So one of the things that we can do here is if you use the roller on the mouse, this should let you zoom in or out by default, and I believe I have mine set off right now. So I'm going to come up here and click on my magnifying glass, and we have this scrubby zoom thing, and if I click and drag to the right or to the left, you can see how I can zoom in or out. Okay, and that's by clicking and holding on my left mouse button and dragging either to the right to zoom in or dragging to the left to zoom out. Okay, so you can kind of zoom in or out like that. When you zoom in and you want to kind of look around the image, you can hold the space bar on the keyboard, and when you do that, you notice that my cursor changes to this different icon of the pan hand, and I can actually scroll across by clicking and dragging. I can scroll around the image and kind of look around. Okay, to get back out, when I'm in the zoom tool, we can zoom to 100%. We can fill the screen. We can fit the screen or fill the screen, just depending on what you want to do here and how you can kind of navigate. And navigating is something that you'll get really used to very quickly, obviously, because it's something that you have to do quite often. So here we get another image here, and I can kind of zoom in or out. Okay, I can use my roller on my mouse to zoom to scroll up and down, but I prefer using the space bar to just hold the space bar down and kind of pan around my image. Okay, so let's look at this image here, and let's zoom up to it. Now this image is a really low resolution image. Okay, you can see right now we're zoomed up to 158%. This is what it's supposed to look like at 100%. So this is the size at 100%. Anything above this, when I zoom into it, it's going to pixelate. You can see these individual pixels on our screen. Okay, each individual pixel is a specific color. It has a hue, saturation, value that makes up each individual pixel and creates the colors. And when you zoom out, it kind of gives the illusion of the image. If you zoom in so far, you don't really even know what you're kind of looking at, as you can see the pixels. When I look at an image like this image is a lot larger of an image, so it takes a lot longer for it to pixelate. But when I zoom in far enough, any image that you zoom in far enough is going to pixelate eventually. Okay, so images are meant to be viewed at specific sizes based on how they were created. So right now you can see this image that I have open is at 94.6%. If I click on 100%, this is how it was meant to be viewed right here. Okay, we click on this one, we do 100%, that's that one. Click on that, click on 100%, and we can see that. Okay, so at any time you can zoom in or out with your left mouse button, going right to left, left to right. Let's pause for a second and we'll go over our next subject.